Confucius was born in 551 BC in the state of Lu in the district of Qingping in the city of Chao. He came from an impoverished family and his father died when he was little. When he was young, he worked as a granary overseer and was promoted to being in charge of the grazing grounds. In 528 BC, when his mother died, he abandoned his job and devoted himself to his studies. He was largely self-taught and fascinated with knowledge. He became a public teacher of the Li, which is the social roles of that time, that Confucius believed in, that defined the proper way for men to act in that day. He understood and taught the Li so well that by the age of 30, he gained public attention as a great master of the Li. His fame greatly increased, and he had young men eager to be taught by him. At the age of 50, he entered government service. He started as a chief magistrate of Chengdu and was soon promoted to the Minister of Justice. This gave him the opportunity to improve the manners and morals of the people. He finally had the people on the right track when he had to resign from his position due to the jealousy of the neighbors of the Lu. For the rest of his life, until he died in 478, he devoted himself to the instruction of youth and editing and recording ancient documents. However, the greatest achievement of Confucius was in education. Confucianism has remained the state religion of China up until recently. Confucianism began during the Eastern Chao period, which was one of intense political and social intellectual activity during which all established conventions and institutions underwent fundamental changes. This gave rise to the era of 100 philosophers, where the four main systems of Chinese philosophy, Confucianism, Taoism, Moism, and Buddhism, originated. Each came about because of pressing problems presented by current political and social chaos. Confucius taught based on Confucianism, the system of social, religious, political, and moral teachings based on the ancient Chinese traditions. It focused on moral character and making the perfect man. There was no set curriculum he taught, so he used the 5 classics: classic of changes, classics of poetry, classic of rites, classic of history, spring and autumn annals, and the 4 books: Great Learning, the Mean, the Analects, and the Mencius. These are the authoritative books of Confucianism in China, written before 300 BC, and are considered among the most important works of literature of China and the Chinese. Education in America would be different without the contributions of Confucius, because he was the first educator in China to introduce the concept of a free education for all. It was said that Confucius would, from the very poorest upwards beginning, even with the man who could bring no better present than a bundle of dried meat, none has ever come to me without receiving instruction. His desire to educate people without ability to pay prepared the way for the public school system. Confucius had the idea of free public education around 520 BC, and the more developed idea can be seen through the public school system started in the 19th century that is still prevalent in the world today.